who are disadvantaged and underserved, a lot of times are young people and youth. And going to West Baltimore, which is an area right now that is needed, it's under construction. They're trying to redevelop and move that area. We're going to have some space over in the new Thurgood Marshall Center. And one of our signature programs, of course, is the boot camp program, where we are looking at students in the various high schools. We're going to inform them as to higher education and, of course, bring them to the campus here at the University of Maryland, where they have a full day of classes and exposure and meeting of professors and other students and so forth. And the idea, of course, is to enrich the students and to certainly enlarge their knowledge and information and maybe even desire to move on and become very respectable and dedicated young people.
Just say a few things about our center and why it is we do this work and how we came to be. My colleague and I, Marcy Deloach, who you may have met earlier, were at a dedication just last week in honor of a young man like yourselves, First Lieutenant Richard W. Collins III, who was murdered in a hate crime on this campus a few years ago. And while we were there, Lieutenant Collins' family spoke, senators, congresspersons, elected officials spoke, and talked about the importance of this plaza, which you'll get a chance to visit today, actually, as a reminder of how important it is that we reaffirm our values in justice, equity, diversity, inclusion, that we reaffirm our humanity. But the inescapable weight of the racist terrorist massacre in Buffalo, which had just happened a day or two before, was looming like a cloud over the event, and it rained that day. And every speaker who spoke about the dedication of that plaza talked about the ongoing need for social justice education, which is what we're going to be doing here today. Talked about the ongoing need for movements to ensure human rights, freedom, equality, justice, the values that many of our elders and ancestors fought and died for. And so it's out of the wake of the aftermath of the tragic murder of Lieutenant Collins that I actually joined the University of Maryland. I came here and I accepted a position here at the SJBC Center in 2017. And the center itself joined the university in 2016. And so I like to just provide this touchstone for you because in many ways, Lieutenant Collins' story, unfortunately, is the story of far too many young people. He had just graduated from Bowie State University and was on his way to begin a promising career of military service in the tradition of his father and his grandfather. But his life was stolen. And it's important that we remember that the work we do is inextricably linked to the lives that we value.
Today's event is the Social Justice Boot Camp, where we brought students from Baltimore City schools to learn about how they can make an impact in their community.
It's a new program, a new pilot, where we're engaging youth from Baltimore around social justice education. We've designed and developed a curriculum, and we're engaging students in workshops throughout the day on 5 critical social justice issues: racial injustice, voting rights and civic engagement, climate change and environmental sustainability, epidemic gun violence, public health equity.
So my name is Albert Phillips Jr., and I'm a work-based learning specialist with Baltimore City Public Schools. And so I'm in the Office of College and Career Readiness, and we help to be able to facilitate this trip and bringing these students from Baltimore City to be here. At the school that they attend, they get a bad rap. They get a bad reputation They don't get enough positive press. And so it's good for me to be able to see our students be here because they're learning, they're growing, just like we were when we were their age. And I think it's important for them to have this experience of being on a college campus. They've never been here before, the majority of them. And to be able to talk about these topics in a way that makes them feel comfortable, makes them feel empowered. And they're going to take this back home. They're going to take this back to their community and hopefully be able to spread the information to others.
I'm in this lane because myself, I have families that I've lost to gun violence. I see every day what's going on in my community, and it breaks my heart. So I just want to do all I can to create change in my community.
I'm in this line of work because I've lost countless of people to gun violence, family members, friends. I'm also a gunshot victim survivor myself.
Some things that I'm hoping to get out of this is like being able to lower down the gun violence, because it's like it's hurtful to see that people are getting hurt, family members, people's daughters, sons, they're all dying from gun violence, and who wants to go on knowing that you can never see that person again?
I believe that everybody should be treated the same way, the way that everybody should feel, to be completely honest. To treat somebody medically in a way that is unfair to them, it's kind of disgusting, to be honest.
The younger you are and the more you learn while you're younger, the easier it is for change to come.
We want our students not just to be doctors and lawyers or whatever it is they choose to be. We also want them to know that they have a factor to play in helping to change society. Beyond just like their career or how much money you can make, we want them to know that we need you to come back to your high school at some point, and maybe you take some students on a field trip just like we took y'all on a field trip today. We want y'all to continue to pour into the communities.
The joy I get is seeing the results. When I see the lives being truly changed, it just makes a big difference. But I enjoy working with these kids just to make a difference in their lives.
The satisfaction I get is knowing that there's a strong possibility that there'll be some of the next me. There'll be some of the next people who be combating gun violence. We do understand that gun violence has been here forever, and it'll probably be here until the end of time. But if we have people to follow in our footsteps, they'll be able to continue to carry the torch and do the work.
I think it's important for them, no offense, no shade. I think it's just important for them to see somebody young. I think a lot of the time seeing, these people who are professionals, they're established in their career and everything like that, they're not as easily relatable because, to a 17-year-old, to a 16-year-old, you're like, oh my God, they're how old? They're 40. You saw, in there, they were saying that I was 45 and when they were guessing my age. But I think being able to not just be young, but be able to relate to the place that they're from, because I'm from there too, and say like, hey, like people might look at us a certain way, but here's what I was able to accomplish, and everybody else in this room with you today want to make sure that eventually you get to be the person standing up here talking to Baltimore youth and talking to them about like, hey, this is how you can help your community and you guys are already on the right track.
Seeing the next generation is really empowering, especially today. There's a lot going on that I myself, who is probably a decade older than a lot of these students, haven't wrapped my head around. And so to see these students try to tackle these issues that are so large and so astronomical is really incredible to me, that there's people out there who have that pursuit and that passion to make a change and make a difference in a world that seems like no matter what you do, there's going to be something that happens that's going to shut you down a bit.
We want to make sure that we're doing our part to foster and facilitate positive growth, particularly among our young people, and make sure that they understand that their presence is needed, their voices are important and needed, and that together we believe that we can write a new narrative for this country and set this country on a new direction, a new trajectory, to create greater equity, a more just society, and more robust opportunities for everyone.